things I was thinking of doing with the stream. Like I thought maybe I'd do like an hour of warming up with like some piano tunes or something, just as a way for me to just kind of get into the groove. And then the internet went out, so that took away the decision. So never mind.
That's what I'm saying. Like all throughout the day, I was like, I don't know, should I do a song? But
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning on no. Just I don't know. I don't know. It feels weird.
It does. It does.
In a weird way, because like I don't know. I don't know if it feels like I would feel like I'm being selfish, like I want to do that for me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird conflicting feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually having it, I was having these debates. I've been having these debates all week. Like even down to like, do I do the show with Bo? I'm really glad I did though, because like two things. Like one, I mean, Bo does. I mean,
it's a good distraction.
It's great. It was great. It was cathartic. It was really great to do that. I didn't want to let Bo down either. And like it was, Bo was so excited to do the show. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, Bo's gonna be busy the rest of the summer, so like, let's do it. And I'm really glad. I'm glad it worked out. So the rest of the time, I'm just like, well, let's see, what would I do next? What's the next stream? And this is it. And I'm glad we did it. And it's gonna be great to just to really just chat about this, if nothing else. Hey Tina, how's it going?
Yeah.
We'll go ahead. We can just go ahead and shout out to LG, of course. LG is with me now. We'll be joined by some others in the chat later. If you want to learn our entire lineup tonight, you can use !guest or guests. You can find out. But this is gonna be a very different stream, and I'm waiting till it's officially 10 o'clock Eastern, and then I'll get into all the spiel. But yeah. Hey Sonny, it's so nice to see you. Hello there. I've seen you before. How are you doing, my friend? I hope you're well. Yeah. Have you ever done anything quite like this before, LG? Like done?
No.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's what I was like. I don't know what to expect, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because it's just kind of in a lot of ways it is a celebration of life, and we've been to a lot of like ceremonies for celebrations of life, and I think that's how I want it to go.
I have, yeah. I mean that I've done.
Oh yeah.
Not on Twitch, but I have. Whenever I die, like I want a celebration of life. I don't want a funeral. I think funerals are really sad.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to be remembered in a sad way. Like I want to be remembered like, just like the good and the positive and like the impact that hopefully I made to people. I'm not going to assume that I make an impact, but
yeah,
just the impact that I hope I made with people.
Absolutely, and it's actually a really interesting angle there, LG. Because oh my gosh, thank you for the raid, Andrea. Oh my gosh, so nice to see you. Thank you so much for the raid.
Yeah.
Oh, Tiny Bubbles. Hello, Tina. So let's bring everybody in. Hello, everybody. I'm Davy. This is the Sandwich Show. It's really nice to see you. This is a very different program, of course, as you know. Let me just first welcome in Andrea Cannon Guitar. It's so good to see you. Can we get a shout to Andrea Cannon Guitar? Hey, Horror Host Joe. It's nice to see you. Yes, my name is Davey. I host a series of interviews. It's called The Sandwich Show, and we also do other things on this channel. So The Sandwich Show includes music streams and gaming streams and special moments, special shows. And this is a very special program tonight. We have experienced this a couple times as a Twitch community. You probably remember last year we lost our good friend John and GA1. And hey, Andrea, good to see you. Welcome in. We're hoping to have Andrea join us in our voice channel as well. We also lost Sandy Ray at some point. It was either 2023 or 2022. And that was a gut wrencher for a lot of us too. Sandy Ray was a really good musician who was streaming on Twitch. So the latest version of someone who, in many different ways was a big impact on all of us on Twitch was BigBillHendo. And he's been a huge part of this community. And LG, I think, let me just go to you now. I think we can speak to like how he was always a constant on your channel. He's a constant on my channel. And by the way, welcome in LG. The LG music. Let's give our friend a follow. He's a singer-songwriter. Just released an album. It's nice to see you.
Hey.
Hi. It's good to see you. But anyway, I was just gonna say, like, one thing that I know that we had in common, Andrea had in common, KR had in common. KR's at a gig tonight, unfortunately. So
Mm.
I did invite. I was definitely wanted him to be part of this as well. We're hoping to hear from that Eflat guy and Robbie G. We're hoping to hear from Sarah Cameron Music later, and we'll see how things go. But I do want to thank everybody for the raid. Emily, thank you for the follow as well. Emily Henry Music, what an awesome musician. We'll be hearing from Emily in just a couple weeks. We'll have Emily on the program for a sandwich Q&A. And I met Emily in person too. Just an awesome musician who's doing house concerts at the moment, and it's pretty exciting stuff. But anyway, Emily's also one of the people who was touched by BigBillHendo, who has roots in Washington D.C., an area that Tina French and Robbie G know very well, an area that even Andrea Cannon does too, because Andrea's, I think, grew up there. Emily does. Emily's there now. And then there are still others that I think we can point to. So BigBillHendo, let me just, for those who don't know who he is, let me just quickly. I'm sorry, I'll just keep you hanging like this, but
No, you're fine.
thanks. So I think that's an important thing for me to do tonight. Like, I do want to explain to those of you who are not familiar with who BigBillHendo is. He was an incredible soul. He was stationed in the armed forces for a good amount of time. I can't exactly ascertain exactly how long. When he was there, and concurrent with when the pandemic came down, he started streaming on Twitch, and he had a huge passion for country music and was really good at it. He played guitar great. He sang fantastically. I think the best I'm not as well versed in country music as others of you might be, but I feel like he kind of reminds me of Garth Brooks a little bit, his singing voice. Like, he had a really good singing voice. It's really
yeah, absolutely. I'm not the country expert, but I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
He just had that very like old country voice, and it's funny because he would come to my channel and he'd give me a hard time sometimes about not knowing a lot of country, but like I wouldn't take that away from him. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like that's you.
Absolutely right. And so he always made, and I wrote this to John when he was asking for it. John Plays Music is another really good friend of ours, and actually John has a really good something really cool brewing, and I think hopefully we'll get to tell you more about that later tonight. But John Plays Music, great musician as well. He's based out of Nashville. But I told John, when in trying to formulate a quote to share my condolences for BigBillHendo and his family, I always felt like BigBillHendo, when you were in his stream, he made you feel like the most important person in the room, and it did not matter who you were. You could have been a partner, you could have been a streamer, you could have been an affiliate, you could have been just a chatter, you could have been a mod, you could have not been a mod. It didn't really matter. He made everybody feel like they were the most valued person in the room, and it's a special quality to have, and he was really great with that. And I don't know if you were to describe your experience, going to his channels and your experience with him and your channels, like how would you remember like the way he interacted with people?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you mentioned that Bill was stationed. I want to say it was Italy. I'm like 99.9% sure it was Italy.
Mm-hmm.
He was stationed overseas, and for a while I was streaming late at night. I mean, late for me. I would stream like once a week from like 8 p.m. until like around like 10 or 11. But he would always be there in those streams. And then for him in Italy, I mean, that was like 6, 7 in the morning. So it was like, it was like super early for him. And so, it was just like, it was kind of cool because like for a while we kind of had this joke of like, starting his day. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. Like, I love that. Totally. I'm happy to kickstart your day with some music and some terrible dad jokes and like, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was a really cool guy, and and we became friends. And I remember when he stepped away from streaming on Twitch because he was getting ready to start treatment and fly back to the States. And like after that, like him and I still stayed in touch. We still communicated through Instagram from time to time. And so like it was like, I don't know, it was cool. It was cool to still stay in touch. even though he wasn't on Twitch anymore. We just got a raid, which thank you for raiding. But yeah, I just, like I've been saying the last few days, like Bill truly had a heart of gold, and and he was just a really, really good human
Absolutely.
being, and
Yeah.
it's like a big loss to our community.
In so many ways.
Sorry, my throat got really dry all of a sudden.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Clay Station, thank you so much for the raid. It's really nice to see you here. And Mark, and there's so many streamers, some streamers who have just suddenly joined us. Emily Henry Music, we mentioned Clay Station, who's an awesome singer too, actually. We also saw, if I saw correct, Mark, MAKR plays. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Mark does it all. It's great to see you. Shout out to all of you. Cool.
Mark is accidentally raided LG.
Oh my.
No, you've rated Davy. I'm just crashing a stream.
Kane Powders joined us in the chat. It's really great to see you, Io. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much. It said, oh man, our R.I.P, R.I.P Bill, and her host Joe as well. Thank you. And Sunny Sees Bunny, good to see you. And Andrea Cannon Guitar with the raid. And Andrea, if you're welcome to jump in on our voice channel anytime. You can do it. You can do it as soon as you're ready. But yeah, give your friend Clay Station to follow. It's good to see Kuya's Side Music is here too. Welcome, Kuya. Yeah, and I think Raid, good to see you too. Ulos has joined us, and one other person that I do want to mention as we continue, especially Clay is particularly familiar with our mutual friend Cover Time Pete. He also mods your channel. I have to give Pete a lot of credit for the tribute stream he did the other night, or the other day. That was incredible stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really, it was really nice. Pete is also another person with just a heart of gold, and like I'm really proud of him, and I'm really glad that he did that, because it was very healing. I think, like, at the moment he went live, like literally, I think right after we all. It's funny because like I think I got a message from you, and then I got a message from Pete, and then I got on Instagram and saw like Bill's, the post that his wife made, and like right after that, Pete's like, I'm gonna go live, and I'm just gonna sing songs that I know he had on his list, and it was, I don't know, it was really nice. I was able to join for a little bit because I was like in the middle of work, but it was nice to join either way.
Yeah, I love that you could make it for some of it, and I was pretty busy too, and it was totally worth it. Andrea, by the way, Peter the Modding Mod, it's great to see you now. Peter would definitely know.
Ah, Peter's here. Yes,
Peter's here too. Big time shout out to Pete the Modding Mod, and Kuya as well. Make sure to follow all our friends. But yeah, Michelle Bird. Oh my goodness, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining in. I do want to thank Emily for getting the word out about this program tonight as well. Like, that's extremely kind, like completely above and beyond. So. Thank you for doing that, Emily. Like, it's really great to have your people here too. I do know, I've been told that BigBillHendo is a huge fan of Emily's work, and what a heartwarming scenario, but also heartbreaking simultaneously. Just knowing that he's not part of our lives anymore. But he left a mark, and I think you could see it in Pete's face when. I'd never seen Pete cry before. It was incredible. I mean, I'm sorry if
either.
I apologize for making the point of that, but it's important to show it's okay to be vulnerable once in a while, and I think it's cathartic sometimes, and I think Pete did a marvelous job, just like doing that, sharing how much he cared about him, and we do too, and then also doing songs from his song list, much like people did for Sandy Gray. And that was impressive stuff. Like, he put together all of that within like probably an hour. Really, if you think about it.
Yeah. I feel like it was pretty quick when he told me he was gonna do it. So I'm really glad he did.
Oh man, for sure. Emily writes, Bill used to come to stream while he was putting his little one to sleep and use the music to get him sleepy. It was the best. Oh my goodness, that is so. That is my heart's melting reading that. My goodness, that's amazing. Yeah. But. That's actually a really good segue, Emily, like, just to say what an incredible family man he was when he was with his little one. He leaves behind a loving wife. And let me just illustrate, just to be really clear about this. He was very young. Like, I would say, maybe
younger than me, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking like early 30s at the most. at the
Yeah.
most. And I'm pretty sure he's younger than that. So that just it hurts me a lot. Like there was so much more life for him to live. There's so much more for him to do. There's so much more love for him to give,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave so much even in the amount of time he was here. Um, and it was always great to see, like you said, see Instagram photos of him and his son. And his son was only 5 years. His son is only 5 years old now, and it's just gotta be
Mm-hmm.
so devastating for everybody in the family. So we're sending, just before we continue, like we're sending all our condolences to Bill. Just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just for anyone tuning in late. So Bill had been struggling, had been diagnosed with cancer about 2 years ago. So he had to come back home from where he was deployed overseas, and he'd been fighting the good fight. There were victories, but there were also setbacks. And last weekend he lost his battle with cancer, and I'm still kind of struggling with it, to be honest. Like, and hey Ryan, it's
Yeah.
good to see you. Welcome in.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah,
I
welcome
think
Ryan.
that Eflat guy is supposed to be jumping in here soon.
Yeah, hopefully Ryan can join us as well. Give our friend Eflat a follow too. But I think it's moments like these that can also bring communities together in an odd way, because because he's touched so many people, and we're all kind of gathering together just to express how much he touched all of us. And yeah, I mean, I'll just jump in a little bit. I mean, I just remember like how friendly he was, and he was always good for some jokes too. Like you were saying, like he's always never took himself too seriously, and it was always kind of nice to see that.
Yeah.
Um, but I was often really impressed by how frequently he was able to pop in on Sandwich Show chat. Like that meant a lot, Like even when he was
Yeah.
fighting and he was struggling with cancer, like he still would jump in just to say hi, and I never took that lightly. I always appreciated him being there, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Ryan would be very much feeling the same. Yeah, I know he's so young, Kuya. He's so young. It's gutting to me. Like
Yeah.
we've lost other people in this community before, but this is the first time I've really seen someone who was still very, very young, and it's hard. Like it's just,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. No, it's okay, Kuya. It's okay. I mean, I will say this is actually a good opportunity for us to kind of share who he was for people who are not familiar with Big Bill Hendo. Like, I think like his follower count, I wouldn't say was huge, but he had been a really good presence in a lot of other ways too. So it wasn't just like what he was doing on stream, but it was also like him being there, being
Yeah.
supporting people, him being a fan of people. Like it was always great. Let's go say hello to some
Yeah.
other people in our group now. We're gonna go say hello if they're ready. And go put my camera in position as we do. But yeah, welcome. And Ryan, hello there. Thank you so much for
Hey,
joining
Ryan.
in tonight.
I snuck in here. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
was telling Davy too. I didn't know what time we were supposed to be here, so I just got here at 8.
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I mean, this was kind of put together very quickly. And, I think, I'm not sure. I'm guessing this is how you got the news as well. His wife posted on his Instagram page to kind of let people know, which I thought was very thoughtful. I mean, I guess, he had people following him from everywhere, but she's specifically mentioned that like the online community meant a lot to him as well, and the family, that they appreciated the support and everything. Um so yeah, hey to everybody in chat. Hey Kuya and Joe and everybody who I might have missed because I popped out the chat window and it's kind of small. So I need to make it a little bigger. But anyway, but yeah, so I'm glad we're able to be here tonight. I think you already hit on some of the things already. Just a really, really friendly presence on the platform, whether you tuned into his streams or if you saw him just in your chats, or in another person's chat.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely a presence that's going to be missed for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That's really well said, Ryan. And that's absolutely lovely. I appreciate you sharing all that. I know he was a constant in your channel. Let's go say hello to Andrea Cannon Guitar. Andrea, it's good to see you back again. Welcome in.
I got my mic on. Can you hear me?
I can. Hello.
Yep, now we can.
Coming in well.
There you go. Let me turn the light on. I look like a bunch of pixels. I got terrible weather again here in Houston,
Oh,
Texas.
no.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
That's probably why I look like pixels. So
I understand.
yeah.
But I think the one constant thing we all have in common is that he was a presence in all of our chats. And I think his enthusiasm for music on Twitch has been incredible. I think for me, it was his enthusiasm for chaos because I'm more of a variety streamer, but I
think you just like the sandwiches.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him there. I don't blame him there for sure. He did have a passion for food too. That's a good point. Like I do remember, like he definitely was into that sort of discussion. Let me see. Anything else I should catch up in chat? I did see. Oh yeah, Emily says he always had such positive things to say about other streamers. He was so kind. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If our friend Irene happens to be in the chat, I do want to give a salute to Irene too, because I think Irene recruited BigBillHendo for a couple of Together Wherever raid trades. I'm not sure though. If I do run into Irene later, I'll ask just to make sure. But he was worthy of one. I mean, he was great. Like his shows were fantastic. Like he was kind of like what LG was saying. Like he kind of got me more in the country. Like because it's true. Like he had such a great, like rich catalog of country past and present.
Yeah.
It was amazing stuff. Like, I mean, let's just go to Andrew for a second on this. Like, if you speak about what he was doing as a performer, like, did it make you appreciate the genre more as well? Like, just like the richness and the enthusiasm for and the passion for the country genre?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I guess I had already sort of gotten there from another streamer, and I don't know. I know he and Big Bill met. It was Freddie Q.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Bill was just building on what Freddie started.
Oh nice. Okay.
But he was actually, if I might say so, sorry, Freddie, but he was much better. Not so much as he really plays guitar. I know Freddie mostly holds his guitar and sings with tracks, you know. So I don't think he'd be insulted if he heard me say that. But anyway.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, and he did play guitar very nicely. Like, I've been around Twitch long enough where I can tell like who's good at guitar and who's passable at guitar. But he was genuinely good.
Well, you're a musician too, Davy.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
yeah, piano.
Yeah,
1000%.
Appreciate that.
Piano's a hard instrument.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Hello, Kola Magoo. Welcome in. Nice to see you. So we're remembering a good friend of ours, BigBillHendo, who died, who had passed away last weekend, losing a long battle with cancer, but in so doing, stayed upbeat the entire time, which has always been his identity. He'd always been upbeat, even in the face of trauma and pain, which is really hard to do. But he really had that kind of heart. And I feel like when you talk about BigBillHendo, I think the big really refers to the size of his heart more than anything else. I mean, it's incredible how much he cared and how much he loved life. And it's great to it's a good example for like anyone to live by, and I certainly felt that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sorry I cut in a little bit, but kind of building on top of that, it's like he seemed to put a big priority on the enjoyment of others, and for him, he would, I think, get a lot of joy out of that. Just seeing that kind of interaction. I think it's a big part of why he was so active in the Twitch chat. Like, I think, it's a great thing that he was so encouraging, but I think it wasn't just like a conscious effort on his part. I think he also just consciously like enjoyed like doing that. Like you can't really fake a a lot of the things he would say. You could tell that he was like watching and listening and not just saying platitudes. Like he was,
Yeah.
he was paying attention to what was going on and saying what he felt. So I always appreciated and respected that from him, and I got to see that because the first time I met him or encountered him online, I guess I should say, is with John Plays Music.
Oh yeah.
He did Musicians Hang, and it was the three of us. It was me and BigBillHendo and John, and we shared some songs and had a great conversation. And Bill was so enthusiastic at times, like, with me, that it was sometimes like he was almost a second host with John, because he was so like enthusiastic about the things that I was doing, in a similar way that a host shows interest in their guests. He just had that natural quality.
That is true. He really did have the stage presence. I don't know if he did IRL gigs, but if he had made it back from the service, and he was able to do gigs, I feel like he would have had that stage presence. Like he really did. You could kind of feel the charisma was so natural with him, and I was. Oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, go ahead, LG. I'll give it to you for some more thoughts on that.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Oh, for sure. What else were we gonna say? No, that was pretty much spot on, Ryan. I love it. Just refreshing everybody. So Zen Z, thank you very much for the follow. I really appreciate that as well. Just to share this with everybody. I mean, this is gonna be given the nature of the program tonight, we won't have any point redeems this evening, but we'll activate them for the next stream, just to let you know. Oh yeah, shout out to John Plays Music, who is also formulating something really cool. I don't want to announce it yet because I don't know if it's ready yet, but basically a way to give back to the family of our friend BigBillHendo. And once I know more,
cool. I was wondering if somebody would do something like that.
Yeah. Oh, not ready. Okay, no worries. No worries.
I would love to be a part of it, but yeah, I was wondering if people were gonna do something like that, or some kind of like fundraiser for the family, or I don't know.
Yeah,
it's those little things I think really make a difference.
Oh, for sure. One of the things I noticed that we have in common with everybody who's on our call so far, y'all play guitar. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I just thought that was neat.
It's true.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about guitar is it is such an expressive instrument where the notes themselves do not tell the entire story. It's sometimes the way you strike the notes, the way you play it, the speed you play it with, and everybody does it their own way. And I think that's another quality that Bill had. He was also unique in the way he did things. I wish I had been able to more streams. I think it's sort of the thing I think about when I think about his streams. I went to a number of them, but not enough. I felt like I wish I had been able to do it more. Especially like early on when he started. I wish I'd known. I would have been there more if I'd known about him sooner. It was really cool. But
yeah, for me, his streams were usually, I'm trying to remember, like they were early, just because of time difference.
Yeah.
So there'd be times that I would join in like at 8 in the morning my time while I was getting ready or like starting my work day. But yeah, they were early.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely early. I remember that. I mean, Ryan, you've rated out over to BigBillHendo a couple times, so I guess you would go till maybe about, let me see, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Eastern. I'm trying to think. It's usually a daytime stream for us, but
yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. Yeah, I didn't get as many opportunities to tune into his channel, but yeah, I mean, he was always, as you would expect, very enthusiastic, very welcoming whenever I did make an appearance in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it is cool. And it is cool, like, to see that both ways, right? Like, I was just as enthusiastic seeing him in chat too. Andrea, like, if you look at your experience in interacting with Bill, both on your channel and also whenever you were at his channel, like, how would you describe those interactions?
He was just welcoming and friendly, just like everybody's been saying. So and so you get a welcoming vibe from the first, right from the very beginning, and it just kind of stays that way.
I definitely feel the welcoming vibe, and it is kind of neat to see that. It was interesting to seeing the repertoire. He just never, I think actually something that Cover Time Pete kind of mentioned to me. And oh yeah, I forgot about the flags. You're right about the flags. If you remember on the stream, he always had all the different like flags from different
Yeah.
countries. That's actually pretty cool.
That was really cool, and I don't know, this might sound a little creepy, but I was like looking through like some of his clips on his channel because I was trying to find him like maybe I could learn like an original of his or something. But I was just looking through them, and there was so many videos where he had so many flags, which I always thought was really cool. Just of people and the flags, for those who don't know, I think it was just like I don't know if it was like a not like a bot, but it was like something that he had whenever like people joined from a certain country, like a flag of that country would pop up, and it was just like it was cool to see like the diversity of flags.
I did. Yeah, they're all.
I
Kind
found
oh, go ahead.
found a couple of clips of originals he was working on his Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram, I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
look there. I did
I,
find
I
one
would
on
direct
his
you that
channel.
way because you sing and I don't, so it wouldn't. You
Well,
could
yeah,
actually
no, thank
you
you.
could
I'll
actually
go
do
look.
them justice.
I don't know if I can replicate his voice or like his style of singing because that's like very. I feel like
No,
that is out of my range. But yeah, I was actually I was looking through his channel and I found he had one video of one original in his Twitch channel,
mhm,
and but I just didn't have time to learn it before this. But
yeah.
I kind of want to like just even if it's just like you know just as part of like processing because that'd be
Mhm,
cool. Oh,
yeah.
and Robbie says his YouTube. Okay, cool. I do follow him on YouTube. Actually, now that I think about it, I'll go back and look.
I did dabble in some of the Big Bill Hendo's YouTube, and there were some pretty cool videos, like some reviews of songs and some sort of like, let me prove that this is not that bad. Everything was even then like everything was so positive. And my favorite thing is that Cover Time Pete pointed out that somebody was like, "Oh, that's not the way the song was supposed to be sung," and he was just so like genial and kind to him. Oh, it's okay. He was so positive and like so understanding of his comment. I'm like, that's wild to me. Like, big props to Bill for having that kind of restraint. I don't know if I would have, and other people would have,
I
but
think the rest of us would have just deleted the comment and blocked the guy.
Right.
Yeah. But what he did was so much more of a lesson to the rest of us.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah,
it's there for us.
um, yeah, absolutely,
100%.
yeah. And by the way, welcome in, Robbie. It's great to see you as well. I appreciate you joining us in the chat, and we've opened the door for Robbie. I don't know if Robbie can make it in the voice channel with us, but either way, it's good to see you in the chat, my friend. Yeah, I mean, it really is cool.
Oh,
go
Davey,
ahead.
he did announce that he'll be joining in a little bit. I saw a message of him saying that. So
Oh,
he will
great.
join
Okay,
us
cool.
at some point.
Awesome. 30 minutes.
I was
Okay.
just saying, like, Robbie, come join us.
No, that's fantastic. Now let's just chat a bit about the journey. So he was deployed. He did come back. He did make his way back to the States to battle cancer, find treatment, and he went to bunch of different places while doing so. I think one thing that was I give a lot of credit to Bill for doing is and it's not easy to do, and nobody's obligated to do such a thing, but he was really open about it. And I think him sharing the entirety of the journey, every step of it, was awesome. He's like, please, DM me if you have thoughts. And I did. And he wrote back, and he was always really good. His lines of communication with anybody were always open. And I think that's really important. It really says a lot about our friend. And it was, as difficult as those times were, I think it was heartwarming in a way to see so many people chatting and giving him support, whether it was in the posts, in the comments, or privately. And I'm certainly not surprised by the support he got at that point because we'd all started to get to know him. But I guess maybe I would ask you, like, what were your thoughts when you found out he was diagnosed? I mean, did you what it could be any range of emotions, so that's why you should probably just go through and get your thoughts beat by beat. So Brian, I'll go to you first. Like, were you surprised by it? Were you what was your feel? What was your instinct there?
I'm kind of reflecting back. It's kind of hard for me to pinpoint like when I first heard about it. Because there were like a few different conversations. I mean, he had been, I don't even know how long he had been fighting it for, his whole history. And that was kind of what I was trying to piece together, and that's the thing about, of course, the online dynamic is, we see what people present on stream. So, as much as like, even like us, as much as like we interact, we don't know everything that's going on in people's day-to-day lives. So it's a little hard for me to pinpoint, but I do just remember just always like feeling like, just, yeah, obviously just, devastation, that, for anybody to deal with that. It's one of the biggest trials I think that somebody can go through, living on here, is to have their body, be something that they're fighting against. And that comes in a lot of different forms, but cancer is one of them for sure. So yeah, I just felt so devastated, and was, also hoping, especially with his will and all the things, it definitely, he was willing to try anything to fight it, quite literally traveling to a different country. So, so I was still holding on to that hope of like, he could beat it. And I was upset that I missed his last post until I saw the post that his wife made. But I just thought it was like, in his true fashion, he tried to somehow like put like a shimmer of this, like he borrowed the Looney Tunes script.
I did see that.
Like that's all, folks. Like that's just like, man, like he was trying. I mean, he was just trying still to like put some kind of positive thing on it,
Yeah.
Which is just incredible, the way that, and I think I need to go back and look at the post, but the impression I got from that post was, it was, kind of, trying to make amends, and honestly, again, trying to help us understand what was happening, even more than like himself, like what he would. It wasn't so much like, here's what I'm going through. It's just like, I want you guys to, to be able to kind of understand what's happening, and I don't want you to be as surprised by it, I guess, as devastating as it was to see.
Yeah. I will add one thing before I go to Andrea for her thoughts. When I saw That's All Folks, I did actually see it. You see the post before it was all said and done. That's All Folks sometimes means a good thing. Yeah, I thought, well, maybe he beat it. I was actually thinking that maybe that, because of how upbeat he was with everything. I was just like thinking, well, maybe he made it. Like maybe the biopsy was good. Yeah. Like I did know that he had a biopsy, and I was feeling pretty optimistic. And then when I read the content of the post, and that's kind of when I started crying, because I'm like, oh man, like this is someone who I really have grown to really appreciate and care about, and it just didn't feel fair. Like I just thought, after all that, I'm like, I really thought he had a chance, and just to leave behind a family, like a loving family like that, and to be a loving part of the family as he was, that was hard. Yeah, it was a tough spot. So Andrea, like, you're going through that, and I do want to, and I am really sorry I didn't alert other people, but as I was saying, like when it happened, that was only like a few days before he died. It was crazy how fast that happened.
Yeah, that was not prepared for that.
Same.
So because he was so young and there was an air of positivity in all, well, he always had that. But even some of the news, that he was sharing had an angle or a facet of a positivity. So I was not prepared for that's all, folks. This is it. This is all they can do. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. Trying to write a response to that for me was hard. I didn't know what to write. I thought I did okay. For a while I didn't even know what I wrote. I just wrote it and I just like didn't think about it and like then checked it again. I'm like, that was good, you know. I mean, all you can really
Well,
say.
I mean, that you wrote that he knows that we're,
Yeah.
reaching out. I feel like that you can feel that the human part of it,
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Like and I think that was the most important thing, just to share. Like, thank you for being such a good friend. I appreciate how much you meant a lot. You have meant a lot to all of us, and and that's pretty much as best as I could. You don't want to say too much because then I know there's gonna be a lot of people responding, and so I felt pretty good. And again, I wish I had shared that with more people. Like I didn't, as I mentioned, it just all happened so fast. We're all busy. We're all going through things, and if I could do that again, I would absolutely have. I don't know what I would. Maybe I would put in the. I don't know what put. I can't put it in the story because that wouldn't be something you could do in Instagram. But maybe I would have just like linked it to people privately. That's probably what I would have done. Yeah. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. Tina says your comments on instant response were always so supportive in this week, and yeah, it was kind of happening throughout the entirety of the journey of his cancer, journey. Like he was going through different parts of it, going back 2 years, I was doing the same thing. Like it was important. I just even saying anything, I think is important, So let's go to LG. Let's get your thoughts. Seeing that all happen and seeing it happen so fast, like it blows my mind, really. But
So yeah. So I was trying to remember because I was like, how sometimes like you like remember something, but you're like, I don't remember if this actually happened. So I went back and I looked back at my messages and I actually had a DM from him back in last year in August where he said, "Hey, got bad news last night. I have to stop like streaming indefinitely." Just basically, about his cancer. And like it was just one of those things that, as we were talking, I was asking him what's wrong. He's like he explained his cancer and that he was going to be traveling back to the States. And then after he asked me when I was going to stream again, which is just like one of those things that like we were saying, it's like he was always just so interested and supporting other people. And this was actually, not to not to make this about me at all, but this was during the time that I was dealing with like some health issues last year and had stepped away from Twitch for a few months. And so he's like, yeah, he's like, been keeping up with you. Just, I hope you're doing good. And I was like, I'm fine. Let's talk about you. Like,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that like, yeah, just occasionally, like we would just reach out and like message each other and DM with each other. And I actually so I not everybody knows this, but I told Davy like I felt really bad because I completely missed his last post, that this is all folks post. Like I had like I blame it on the algorithm because I feel like the algorithm just sucks.
I know.
Kind of the same as Ryan. Like
Yeah.
I missed it and I had no idea. And then the next thing I saw was, like the post from the really beautiful post from his wife saying like, like he's passed away. And then it's interesting because within like 5 minutes I got a message from Davy and from Cover Time Pete saying like, like, whoa. I think we just kind of all were processing at the same time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just it is crazy that it went so fast. And like I remember seeing a few weeks ago like his post about the biopsy came back and he still seemed like he was like positive. And I even commented on that one, I think, being like, yeah, like hey, I'm so happy, like just like everything seemed to just be pointing in a better direction. But it, like that's the thing with cancer. It's like cancer, like it just people go really fast. Like when the cancer, I hate using the term, like people say a lot like like this person lost their battle. I'm like, because I hate giving cancer that victory of like, yeah, cancer won. But like whenever like the cancer is too bad, it just goes by. It's quick.
Yeah.
Like my wife and I were talking about this earlier. Like we have a friend that passed like 10 years ago from like this like unexpected cancer that literally from the day that he found out until the day that he died, it was about like a month. And like it's one of those things. It's like he all of a sudden was sick, and then poof, he was gone. And that's kind of how with Bill, we've been seeing the progression for a while, but it looked like he was doing better, and then he wasn't.
Yeah. And Tina's right. Like he was still positive all the way to the end. And it's gotta be just, it makes you rip your hair out in a way. Reminds me of Mike Schiller. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know too much about Mike Schiller, but that sounds like a solid analogy. Yeah, it's sometimes it is hard to come up with words in situations like this. I mean, learning that he died was hard. Like, I mean, I don't talk about how much I would. You probably don't see me cry a lot on this channel, but man, I was crying that night though, because I was just like, that's just hard. Like he was always there, like he was always there, much like you all are always here, and when you lose someone like that, it's not going to be easy. And you just think about who he leaves behind. We talked about that earlier, like. And you think about the legacy he left behind. It was great. I mean, also the other thing is, like, I really think he could have released some awesome tunes on Bandcamp. Like, if things had worked out, if he had gotten back into civilian life, like, he totally would have been great for it. He could have found people to produce those tracks. It would have been so good. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I will say like this whole thing with Bill, like this week, it's had me just really thinking a lot about just like the friendships that we make online, and like even though Bill was someone that I never met in person, like I still I still knew him, right? And his death like still hurts. And it's just it's always interesting. People can say whatever they want about friendships that you make online and like, oh, you don't know who these people are or whatever, but it's like, no, like I know him just like the same way I know all of you, right? Like, except for Davy, but like I've never met any of you, but I still like I know you guys. And and same with like several people in the chat right now. It's like you're all part of my life, and the same way that Bill was. And I feel like that's a case for a lot of us. It's like maybe we never met him in person, but his death still hurts, and he was still a part of all of our lives.
Yeah, that's well said. Andrea, any other thoughts as far as processing processing a tragedy like this?
I think we pretty much covered it already. It's some of it's the positivity that he displayed openly, and like when you said he's talking to you about his cancer, and then he's like, well, when are you going to stream? He's going to be living his life while he's fighting cancer, and he doesn't want to change the dynamic of it in terms of what's happening with, I don't know, music and friends and the stuff that you like.
Yeah.
So and so that's something that he did. Well, something that he did that he didn't realize he was doing was what we already talked about when he answered that troll. And now we look back and I go, dang, I would have just I got my middle finger and deleted.
Right?
I would have too. I'm not lying. No lie.
It's so much more big, it's so much more constructive.
Right.
I love that.
I mean, I'm probably gonna be thinking about that more than I'm gonna think about anything that actually got said back and forth, just in conversation.
Yeah. I love that though. I mean, it's just things that make people unique, right? And everybody's got characteristics that really do such a thing. And I think the context for which Bill was such a sympathetic human being is incredible. I mean, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that most of planet Earth is a really toxic place. Like even within Twitch, it's so toxic. We are lucky to be in a part of Twitch that is very warming, giving, and caring, and generally pretty well grounded. But you can't say that about a lot of the world. Shoot, I'm on TikTok. I get comments on TikTok that are just absolutely brutal sometimes. Like it's not fun. Like, but sometimes it's fun. Like, but you just have to. It's just part of like being a content creator. So for Bill to be able to do that and turn it around and make it a positive thing and affirm, even like just shows sympathy for other people who are literally it's trying to insult you. I give him I gave him a tip of the cap for that. That is incredible that he can do. I don't know if that's something a lot of people could do. Ryan, I'll give it to you. I'll just let you take the floor for some more thoughts.
I just got kind of a little bit introspective for a minute, thinking about why I come on here, and Bill's just a good example of like when I saw like what was going on in Twitch, it was like Davy had kind of alluded to, just I had experienced a bit of cruelty. I mean, anybody that turns on the news and sees all the terrible things that are happening in the world, and then you also see for me personally, there was just some things going on like when I started watching on Twitch. It was kind of a pivot. I was kind of moving out of some of the circles I was with because I realized they just weren't the supportive friends that I wanted and needed to have. So this was restoring my faith in humanity, like coming back. I'm not really exaggerating, like coming onto Twitch and seeing the way that people were supporting other streamers. And then when I started, like how many people helped me get my start, and you all here, like just amazing presences, amazing people who I've never had a single bad thought about any of you, and yeah, it's just
right.
Knock
on wood.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's just it's incredible to think about the ways that we can. It just makes me think even more about how am I conducting myself here, and how do I make sure that the people that I appreciate know that they're appreciated, because Bill was obviously elite in that capacity, you know. So yeah, so I'm gonna take the opportunity to just tell all of you that this platform and like the way that I go through my days is better because of all of you, and it goes for a lot of you that are listening in the chat as well. Yeah, so thank you.
Well, thank you too, Ryan. I mean, you're a big part of that. I mean, we would like to also give some props to you as well, or as they say in certain circles, Ryan Preach, because you do every bit of that whenever you're.
It sounds like the TikTok circle that I'm not a part of.
That's reasonable. And kind of getting why you're not part of the TikTok circle too. Kind of seeing it firsthand now. But you're right. Like Twitch is a special place, or at least our part of Twitch, our little corner of Twitch is a really special place. And
yeah, and it's a little bit of that kind of exclusivity of like you kind of have to literally kind of. Well, not literally, but look under the rock, like it's kind of hidden, like we don't very often. I mean, Twitch has done it before, but it's rare that musicians are on the front page and in the recommended, unless you're somebody like me who watches all the music streamers. Then the algorithm's like, oh, okay, I guess you like this, but if you're not signed into Twitch, you open that front page, you're probably not going to see a music streamer on there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to look for it.
And it makes sense. Like I'm not mad at Twitch for that. I mean,
Sorry, I was just gonna say it makes sense, but it makes sense why TikTok would be crueler, because it's more likely that you're just gonna get random generated people coming in that weren't seeking out your content but somehow came across it anyway.
Yeah, true.
So
good points. Yeah, I mean, and LG, you're on TikTok too, so I imagine you've run into your fair share of commenters and viewers and likes, and even I don't think I have dislikes on TikTok.
I ignore it, to be honest.
It's fair.
I just ignore it.
It's a good way to go. Yeah.
My favorite is Lyrical Leia one time was talking about a troll, and she basically, how in chat she said one time, she's like, like it's optional for you to be here. And like, I feel like honestly, like I've learned to live by that. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like these people are choosing to be here. So like, like whatever.
Yeah. I love that so much. I mean, technically people are not choosing to go to your reels on TikTok, but still, like,
it's true.
You can choose.
But they're choosing to comment.
Yeah, true, exactly. So that, like, I was just saying it to Tina in the chat too. Like, I don't take it too seriously either. I'm like, yeah, this is just a clown. Like, he just doesn't know. Like, he doesn't know. He doesn't get that toothpaste jelly beans taste good and they're supposed to be good.
The only thing is, sometimes I push back just because I don't want other people that are interested in like creating and being online to think that like they should be concerned about the trolling and stuff. So there was like an instance where I had posted I had a VOD, and like it was a song that I hadn't like practiced as much. I was playing, so I was making mistakes, and the commenter said something about like, you should never pick up the guitar again.
Oh, gosh,
and that was the thing that kind of got me, was like, imagine if it was somebody who had less self-esteem than me that was like trying it out for the first time, and like decided that, you know what, he's right, I should never pick up the guitar again. You know what I mean?
No,
so
never listen to anybody.
So yeah, I know. And that was kind of what I said in my reply, is like, the only reason your comment is staying up here is because I want other people to see that like, this is just going to happen to people. Like, if I put down the guitar, how am I possibly going to get better? You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
So like, yeah, it was mean, right? But I wanted to kind of just put it up there, because, and also the other part of it was, somebody else saw the comment before I did, and so they were trying to like, anyway, it was like a little bit of a mess already. So I have to respond to this. So anyway, that was another reason why I chose to respond to it, because somebody else had already, it had already been out there and people had already kind of responded to it themselves.
Oh, wow.
And so I was kind of like, like, this isn't a big deal for me, but like, this is not the way to like be, as far as like, especially, in the context in which I was doing what I was doing. Like, if they were paying attention, they would know it was what was going on there. But anyway,
for sure. And so, I positive they weren't paying attention. That's the thing. Like, people have no, like, here's a couple, there's a lot of things to unpack here. For number one, awesome that you had people you were following you, having your back in that scenario.
Like,
that was great. Like, that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, normal.
Exactly. Exactly. But
I was gonna say something. I don't know if this, but I got asked last year to do the All-State Texas Jazz Guitar Etudes, because nobody else would do it, and get paid. It's a volunteer thing. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. So and you had to put them on your YouTube, so people from the kids could find them, and their directors help them learn. So anyway, somebody with a magnifying glass I've heard a mistake. I made a mistake. So
Oh,
he writes to
No.
me about how crappy it's whatever.
You made a
Um,
mistake on the internet.
You
How
made
dare
like one
you?
mistake,
I
but
know,
you're
seriously.
so good at this though. Like,
Okay, but here's the thing. You can't, I mean, I could have commented on the video, but he has no email address, no contact info. So isn't that the kind of person that's going to go looking at all of us and say, oh, look
oh
and look?
yeah,
And that's the way they, for some reason, are deriving their self-worth. So, like I
absolutely.
say, now I'm going to be thinking for the rest of my life about how Bill responded to that guy. I think, really, I'm in a better place because that's what he does, to get
yeah,
validation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And it's so true. Like, here's the thing. I don't think people like that would ever say that to you in person. There's no way.
oh,
oh no, no,
there are some
absolutely
people
not.
who
Yeah,
would.
There are a few. There are a
Mm-mm.
few.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
I
Interesting.
don't know.
Yeah,
I think,
it's
I think so.
it's just it's a very weird thing. I don't. Again, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. I guess
Yeah.
because I don't know. I just get so excited with like live music to like see people particularly doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
But it's I don't know. This conversation is definitely getting a little bit away from Bill, but I think he would also appreciate the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I
Mhm.
have kind of long observed that the way that most of us experience music here, or the default exposure to music is, particularly live music, is like not always a communal experience,
Hmm.
but sometimes like there's somebody who's performing music and then everybody else is just kind of like listening. There are obviously, I mean, there are a lot of places where you can get really engaged and active in live music, but it's not like I think the default experience, maybe as it would be like, for example, you go to a pub in Ireland and people will just end up like singing songs together, just kind of spontaneous spur of the moment.
Hmm.
That doesn't
Mhm.
happen as much here. It can happen. That doesn't mean it never happens, but it's just something that people don't experience as much. So I feel like here in the States, there's sometimes a bit more of like, I'm expecting you to basically shine in a way that, I never could, because you're up on that stage and I'm down here. So,
Right.
feed me.
Yeah.
Like, feed me the music. You know what I mean?
Well,
And if you don't, I'm going to let you know about it. It's like the person that, eats at a restaurant, and just because it wasn't the best steak they had in their life, they're going to make sure the house hears about how this steak could have been a lot better, so it's that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think.
well, so much of, and again, not to derail this because I feel like we have been derailing it, but so much of like even like if you look at like big artists live, like it's become such a big show. And with like, I mean, let's be real, like people use autotune on live shows and like like pre-recorded tracks, and then they just kind of pretend like they're playing over it. Like there's like that happens a lot with a lot of big numbers, and people expect you to be that way too. They're like, oh, like like you gotta sound perfect. It's like, no, I'm sorry, like I'm not perfect. And sometimes I had a gig on Saturday and I messed up one song, and nobody came and complained to me, but I was very aware of it. But it's
Yeah.
like like I would have never. I'm really glad nobody came and told me like, hey, you sucked at this. But it's like that's what you get with live music. Like you get mistakes.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh,
No doubt.
Robbie's here.
Robbie's
Yeah.
here. I love that so much, by the way, LG. I do want to say hello to Jamie and King. Welcome in, friends. Good to see you, my friends. Welcome in. Different friends as well, too. Robbie, thank you for joining us. Pump it up. So nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thank
Pump
you.
it up for Robbie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I haven't been on one of.
Yep.
I've actually never been on one of his karaoke streams, so I don't think I've ever done this
Oh, like the group thing?
format before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be in a karaoke stream.
I've been
You
thinking that
should
too.
be
I don't
in
know
one.
if anyone wants to do that.
Robbie.
Well, if he does lip syncing, I think
Robbie
that we
Moore.
will maybe have that conversation. So,
Oh man.
not
But
to
that's the
steal
thing.
the island.
Karaoke's not supposed to be good. Karaoke is
Yes,
supposed to just
okay.
be fun.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just very self-conscious in my singing. But yes, that's fair. I do have to sing every night for my kids, so
Oh, there
it's
you
not
go.
that I don't do it. So
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
you want a lullaby? I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been following along and yeah, in the conversation, and it's tough because man, I have so much regret. You know, of so many things I wanted to do with the guy, and you know,
Well, Emily,
it
have a great
just-
night, my
I was
friend. So
looking
good to
back-
see you. Take care, Emily.
Oh yeah.
Cheers. Give our
Have a
friend
good
Emily
one,
Henry
Emily.
music a
Good to see you.
follow.
Yeah, I mean that's actually kind of an interesting segue because I really wanted him to come to that Emily show that's going to be here, and
Oh.
you know it's that probably is one of the things that kills me the most, right? So because I
Yeah.
know that he had said in Ryan's show, chat one time that one of the things that we were talking about seeing her show, and he's like, oh man, I would love to see her live, and it just kills me because she's in the area. I just wish that we could have gotten there. I just
I know.
and so that and grabbing a bite to eat. We talked a lot about food. We talked a lot about the sandwiches that I've actually brought on this show, on Davy's show before, about wanting to go to that exact place and take him there. And
The one with the French toast, like for the bun? Is that the one?
It's the one that has the grilled cheese crab cake, and then
Sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sold
pretty
already
amazing.
just on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to.
It was the thing I brought on Davy's show the very first time I was on this channel.
I remember it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of legendary sandwiches there, and we talked about food and sandwiches a lot, and we also talked about his love of Tex-Mex, and I actually wore an Aggie. It's because of the Texas thing that I have. Just because we talked a lot about Texas and where he's from, and I just I've gotten to spend a lot of time in Texas because my wife is from there, so I go there like 3 or 4 times a year. He missed a lot of the food and culture from there, and so I sent him to my favorite Tex-Mex place, and he said it was amazing and it brought him a taste of home. And I'm just so happy that he could have a little bit of that, because I know how hard it was to be transported from Texas to Italy and then back to DC, which is a totally different vibe, over here in Maryland. And, but I'm just happy he at least could have those. But we had so many plans to, do other things, and he just declined so quickly. I didn't see that post, the previous one, which I know a lot of us have regrets for not seeing it earlier. And I wish I had reached out and, brought him something or something. I don't know, just I feel.
Yeah.
And then I saw it. It was just so shocking, obviously, as it has been for all of us. But
For real.
Instagram is known to suppress like graphics, as opposed to like pictures and stuff,
like videos.
So so it kind of makes sense that a lot of us missed that one because it was a graphic. It wasn't a picture or something. The algorithm just doesn't. I think it kind of makes sense just because the algorithm might think it's more like spammy kind of stuff.
I thought it was more like a meme or something, because that's all, folks. Just like it's not it's like a Looney Tunes reference. It's not really, and I get it, but it's just like, oh, it killed me because of course you scroll back and see that as the last post, and that guts you even more. I was actually going because we actually talked through IG Messenger, so like I was going back through my IG messages with him. It's just like. He was such a good guy. Just really cared about a lot of people,
Yeah. It's incredible just to think about how that all happened within, like a week and a half. It's crazy. I do want to catch up and chat really quickly before we get back to business. So yeah, have a great run, Emily Henry Music. And a reminder, we'll have Emily on our program for a Q&A coming up in a few weeks.
I'm gonna grab my water real fast.
Okay.
I didn't grab it.
Take your time. You loading in, or you loading in, I'm sorry. Rain says, if you want the exact perfection or to hear a specific version, go to YouTube or listen to the song from your phone. Like, exactly. But see, that's why I like Twitch music so much. You can find out who truly is talented in a live setting by going to streams, and it helps you figure that out a lot sooner. Because anybody can do a song in like 52 takes and look and sound good on YouTube. you find out how talented you truly are
Yeah.
when you see it in real time.
Yeah, live music is hard.
Yeah. And thank you, Tina. I appreciate that as well. But we were things that might have been, and you know, I wish I was really hoping one day I'd get to meet BigBillHendo as well. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to happen, but you know, I always had hope. I always had hope he could get through it, and maybe I'd find my way to the Mid Atlantic and I could go over there and meet him. I mean, you know, Robbie, LG, Andrea, were you thinking of similar ideas, like hoping you could meet him at some point?
I mean,
He was
that would
so
have been
close
really
to me.
cool.
I mean, miles away. It's just
Yeah.
it's astounding how close he was, and it even ate at the same restaurant I suggested. I'm like, I should have met him there. You know, I just like,
Yeah.
just
It's
don't
hard to.
know.
It would have been hard to tell, like, would he have been had the energy to do something like that at that point, right? So that's always
I
a thing
know.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Ryan, you're kind of close to him. Like, would you be sort of close in the vicinity?
Not particularly close. I mean, it would be. I mean, it would be a
Like a
pretty long day trip.
5-hour drive.
That'd be quite a
Yeah.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically, if I'm going up to that area, you're making multiple days out of it. So that way you're not driving 10 hours in a single day.
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
it's about 5 hours. I used to make that trip a lot, Davy, actually, back and forth. So
Oh
like
wow.
my grandparents lived down there, so I would make that trip. You know, so
Yeah.
about 5 hours. It's not terrible, but it's a lot to do in a day. You know.
Yeah. Really quick, Robbie. You were talking about grilled cheese, King Dambreaker. Grilled cheese, you may pass. That's great. Does anybody remember?
I do love.
I'm sorry to just jump in with this really off-topic question, but like, does anyone remember what BigBillHendo's favorite sandwich was? That's always a thing I like to ask people. Anyone remember?
I don't know.
I don't know
Yeah.
either.
Dude, I have a question. He was on. Was he never on this program? Because I feel like he had talked about you in one of the chats. I know.
Well, he was been
wanting
in
to be a
chat a
part of it.
lot, like almost like a lot of streams, actually a whole lot of streams. Like I
Yeah,
remember.
I'm just surprised he never came on air. Yeah.
Oh well, I think by the time, you know, I
Yeah.
think he got diagnosed with cancer about 2 years ago, so I think it was like right as I was starting to really get into gear with scheduling guests, and
That makes sense.
I didn't really feel like it was in. I didn't feel like it was in good taste to book him while he was going through cancer treatment.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just forget that like his streams are like 10 months ago now. Like it's been a while since the last one, and I'm wondering if does any of you guys know if there's a way to contact Twitch to make it a legacy account so that way it doesn't like lose its stuff.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm like I really kind of want to figure that out for him just because I feel
I
like
don't
I would
know.
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
I know
That is a
Facebook
great
does that.
question.
Yeah, Tina says maybe his wife could.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And Tina's right. He
Yeah.
was.
You should just write or ask her to write to customer service or whatever it is, because I wrote about something and they actually answered me.
Yeah. I may ask. The CEO is so like responsive, you know, and just chatting with people on social medias and stuff like that. I may just ask him, you know, what's the process of, you know, somebody. And I bet he would just answer. Like he helped Emily Henry like an hour or two later from when they like knocked her off. Like, and that's. I'm so happy that the CEO is a streamer like that and a music streamer nonetheless. You know,
Right.
Cares about the community.
Yeah, but I am familiar with our
That's
friend
cool.
DJ Clancy's work. It's an interesting journey, and he's gotten to know a lot of friends in a very short amount of time, and it's kind of interesting what he's up to. Yeah, but definitely check with his wife first. He's right. And just adding to the point from earlier, BigBillHendo was in chat very recently. I think it was either during a golf stream, or it was during a karaoke stream, and it had to have been within the last like 40 days. That just gives you the immediacy of everything that's happened. It's just incredible just to think that. I mean, Ryan, do you remember him being around chat recently as well? Like in your channel?
I can't remember how recently it was. I know he was talking about, you know, how he was going through treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember how long ago it was. I think it wasn't that long ago. I think it was kind of during the winter.
Okay.
At some point he had stopped into my channel, so it wasn't like it. He definitely was active in my chat, and he actually, I had realized because I could see this that he joined my Discord back in like October or something. So I know that he was probably active in my chat in October, and I probably said something about the Discord, and he popped in there. So
actually, Ryan, not to like be like too snoopy about it, but like I was actually reading his last conversations on your channel when I was like lurking the other day, because it's mods, we can see the chat history. And so his last times, like we were in the Pokemon stream, and I had forgotten about that, and we were talking about stuff like that, and so it was kind of cool to relive some of those conversations that I remember us having on stream together. I was like, oh wow, like. In some ways, I'm kind of happy that data and legacies in Twitch. And
that's right, because he was big. I didn't realize how much of a Pokemon master he was.
Yeah.
He like knew way more about the Nuzlocke challenge than I did.
Oh, wow. It was pretty funny, actually. I was like, oh man, he's doing the Nuzlocke challenge.
I was like, please backseat away. You know?
Yeah, I think he said his favorite was like Pokemon Emerald, maybe, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So
yeah.
That's fantastic. I'd like to welcome one more to our chat tonight. This is Sarah Cameron Music, everybody.
Hey, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, guys.
It's very nice to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. Yeah, we've been having a really good time just getting to, revisit our memories of our friend Bill, and we were just talking about really everything, just from the beginning. How did you meet him? What were your interactions with him like? I mean, if you could speak to, getting to know him, meeting him, like, what were your first impressions, like meeting BigBillHendo for the first time?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I should have done my homework before this. I was gonna check, actually, Robbie, if you want to check.
Yeah, Robbie. Robbie's our statistician tonight.
You know what's funny is I was already doing it. I wasn't saying anything. I muted myself, but yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, because I can't remember. It was probably 2 years ago, maybe, when he started following. Robbie can confirm.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. But yeah. But why isn't it coming up? I don't know.
Yeah. But while you look that up, I just do want to remind everyone, give our friend Sarah Cameron Music a follow. Awesome musician on Twitch with a quite a good amount of content on released on Bandcamp and other music platforms, by the way. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So last time when he followed you in March of 22, and then he last chatted on the 19th of October. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right as that was 2 months into when everything was kind of happening with him.
Yeah. He was talking about how it hurt his vocal cords, and it was going to take a year to recover from that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just remember, I don't know if he came in with a raid or how we met exactly, but he came into chat one day, and yeah, and he made a big impression. He was always so cheerful, like every single time. He was very like consistent, very even, and like you always knew when Bill was there, like it was gonna be a good time. He was always so positive and uplifting, and yeah, just like he was such an encourager, and then I remember being in his stream as well, just like how freaking talented he was. And I also knew he did mostly country music. So whenever I saw him in chat, I'd usually throw a country song from my list into the queue, even if no one asked for it. I'm like, it's playing country music. And yeah, and then we were connected on Instagram as well, and he's just like such a cool guy. And yeah, like seeing his family and stuff was so sweet, like what he would share on Instagram. It makes me super sad, just definitely praying for his wife and son in this time, because that I can't even imagine, like that would gut me.
I completely agree. Like, I was just thinking, I was saying to each of them, I'm probably saying to all of you at different points in DMs, like, just like, I've been really struggling this week, and I'm not even nearly as close as his wife and his son would be, and his parents, and other people in his family. I'm just thinking of them today. Like it's got to be such a hard day for everybody in the Hendo family.
Yeah.
But that's really well said, Sarah. Like it's wonderful to hear your thoughts as well. It is really cool to see like you've gotten a mutual respect. I do love that the country effect from Bill has been affecting all of us, and I too like am part of that. Like I got more into country because of Bill too. Like he really gets you in. I mean, how can you not help it? He's got such an infectious personality. He gets you into anything. Like if he had gotten into polka, I think more people would have gotten into polka on Twitch too. Like I just think he's that kind of guy that can really get. He was that kind of guy that could get people into just about anything because he's so enthusiastic for it.
Yeah, I loved his variety of music though, because like he loved country, but just I love that he would do other stuff too and try to like do his own take on it, and because he knew that not everybody on Twitch was super into the country vibe, and so that he tried to really mix it up, and I think that he brought country to other people's streams and brought rock to his own, and I thought that was a really cool way. I mean, him and Josh and Eddie, the three of them, changed my views on country music. I'll be totally honest. Like as a big alt rock guy, like that was my whole vibe, and I like never really listened to country music before, and marrying a Texan and then having those three come into my life, it obviously very much changed my views on country music. So.
You're wearing a very appropriate shirt today, Robbie.
Oh, I love the shirt.
Yes,
I married into.
I did. I married into being a Texan. So,
I love that. Texas, you're an Aggie. Yeah, made you an Aggie. I love it.
Gig 'em.
Yeah, gig 'em.
It's funny. It's actually in my vows. Like I had to I took them in my vows as part of it, so it was interesting.
That's a true story.
You know what's funny?
The Redskins at the time, that was the trade-off, and so all the Cowboys fans had to eat a Redskins helmet. But anyway, it's a different story.
Yeah, who won that one, folks? I think Robbie might have won that one. To be honest,
I did.
Robbie, as a former resident of DC, thank you.
Yes, exactly. I've converted one Cowboys fan. So anyway,
there you go.
I went to New Mexico State University, and we are also the Aggies, but not like the Texas Aggies. Yeah. So it's always fun to me whenever people are like, "Go Aggies." I'm like, "You're not talking about the ones from my school because we actually suck." like the football team in my college was so bad. It's still really bad. It's embarrassing. But they're also the Aggies.
Oh wow, yeah.
We actually have Aggies in North Carolina. It's an agricultural technical school, NCA&T.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Dig it. But they're not even Division One, so it's a little bit of a different thing.
Yeah, that's
I never actually talked to Bill that much about football. It's surprising now that I'm looking back on it. I would talk to him about.
Interesting. Good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where in Texas?
I don't really know.
I don't remember where in Texas he was from.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
It
Because
is.
if it's Dallas, don't ask.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I have learned to not ask most Texans that question, so
Well, you know where I stand.
Exactly. I love it, Andrea. I love it. Oh my goodness. So, did you ever Ryan mentioned that he was on with BigBillHendo and a musical kind of like Together Wherever New Tune Showcase, but it was like the Musicians Hang that John Plays Music hosted. Sarah, were you in any events with him? I feel like if you would have been in one, maybe it would have been Together Wherever, maybe it was Dinosaur Game Fest. I'm trying to remember, but do you recall if you were on any other events sharing time with him, like in a raid train or something like that?
I don't think I ever was in the same raid train as him, unless he was in one of the super big ones. There was one, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna forget her name. Oh my gosh.
Sashi Boone?
What's her name? Anyway, it was like a massive multi-day charity stream.
Oh, Irene Pena's thing, right? Or the show heart?
Irene, yeah.
No,
He might have been in one of
Hungry.
those though.
no, it wasn't that.
No,
it was a different one.
No Kid Hungry. Was it No Kid Hungry?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna remember right after we're done here. I'm
Okay.
sure, because that's how this works.
Yeah.
But unless he did one of those big ones where you kind of can't keep track of everyone who's in it,
Yes, exactly.
then I'm not sure that we were together in any of those.
Okay, no problem. But yeah.
So for me, it was more just knowing him through Snapchat and through his stream.
I don't think you ever were. I just did a quick search of like mutual things, and I don't.
Okay.
I would have been surprised if it was.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's someone?
No,
Because
it
Josh
couldn't have been No Kid Hungry. It couldn't have been that one because I think he stopped streaming like in like July or August of last year.
Oh yeah.
And No Kid Hungry, I remember was August or September maybe.
Yeah, that's about
It was
right.
later
Late
in the
August.
year.
Late August, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and August was when he had to leave Italy.
Yeah.
To fly back.
Yeah.
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 Because.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, just because I know Josh Turk had done a lot of organization for Showheart. If Josh had known, Robbie, did Josh know about BigBillHendo? Like, is that somebody he would have wanted? You think for this event?
I was wondering that myself.
Okay.
I don't think that he had ever gotten over to him because I mean he spent time over at Carly's stream, but I don't think ever at Josh's stream.
Yeah. I think Carly's stream is actually where I met Bill. Now that I think,
I'm pretty sure that's where I met him too.
Yeah, it's crazy how interconnected like all of our channels are.
Yeah,
or not that crazy if you think about it.
I guess it's not that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Like it is a small world.
Oh yeah,
a small Twitch world.
Smaller than you think.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's a good question. What is the craziest thing you remember?
Sadly, I don't think he got to many of the different raid trains. I can't even imagine, because I helped Josh organize a lot of them. And, it's just, I don't think he kind of started streaming at a very different time and he just hadn't gotten into it yet. And then by the time we were all friends and it was into it, then so it's unfortunate because he would have been great. I would have loved to have him on any of them.
Yeah, he would have been a hit for sure. I know he's willing to make fun of himself, and I was wondering if any of you remember some of the wild things he did on stream. Like, is there anything that sticks out?
Mm-mm.
But he was just wild in general. It's like I don't think there's necessarily a specific thing we have to point to, But yeah, I remember. Yeah, I can't point to anything particularly myself, but you've already pointed out some really good things, so like that's pretty good. But yeah, I mean. I am really pleasantly surprised that how many people did know him. Like, I did not actually know as I was starting to, as things were starting to wind down, to the, the sad conclusion. But the people who had chimed in, like when his wife made the announcement, it was actually kind of remarkable. Like, we also had Adele and Andy check in, Bob Blaho checked in. I'm trying to remember who else. KR, I think, or just KR maybe liked it, but either way, that was he touched a lot of people. This is sort of what I'm trying to say. Like he's certainly someone that a lot of people did know, and maybe even more so if you streamed during the daytime. So I can speak to Ryan for that, and Andrea too. It's just unfortunate. Like I just think of like what might have been for our friend Bill. I feel like had he been able to, had he had a better hand dealt from life, like I think he would have been amazing. Like it would have been really good to see more of what he did on musically. He might have had more YouTubes. Like it's just kind of that makes me sad too. Like I just think of like all that he's already shared and all that he will continue to share. It's not someone I'm gonna forget very quickly, but
well, and I was looking through his Instagram posts the other day.
You really see it.
What's that?
I said I think that's where you can really get a feel if you didn't Because like I
Right.
see Koala in the chat saying, "I wish I could hear him." He's got some songs, the originals there, and anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking through, and even just a couple weeks ago, basically, he was writing songs again, and he was saying it felt good to get back into it and everything. And yeah.
Yeah. It's
I was actually just reading through Carly's chats and us
Mm-hmm.
meeting him for like the first time. It was just, interesting, such a kind guy. Just, he was there for like both, that's how we met him, and also Carly's last stream, still being like super supportive of her
yeah.
and being,
Yeah.
there for so many people. And that was just sort of what I love the most about him,
Yeah.
just a positive force.
Mhm.
And like the only picture that stands out in my head is the one of him and his son, just that he posted on Instagram. It's just
Ugh.
it guts me,
Mm-hmm.
as a dad. It's just
Mhm.
I mean, I can
I
imagine you
feel
can
Yeah.
relate so
like,
well to that. It's
yeah.
it's hard just to think how much they loved each other too, and that doesn't it's hard. It'll be a while before I process all that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it all just comes so suddenly, and now you ask the question like, what can we do to kind of honor his legacy? And I think we all, I'm sure, imagine everyone's thinking about this, even people in the chat, and that would be probably a good one to kind of go with. Is there anything in particular you were thinking that you could do or you might do to just kind of live the legacy that our friend Bill lived? I'll start with Andrea.
Well, I think I already said it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
you
going to
did, you
be.
did. The comments in the
Yeah.
YouTube, yeah, yeah. That was,
Yeah. Well, and it's not but it's not just those people that you don't really meet,
mm-hmm.
but it's the ones you do meet
Yeah,
that just have that need, you know.
yeah,
And like you keep saying, you're processing. I got to process and really think and even self-reflect on what I'm going to change to not be like I have been and be more like he was.
yeah. That's
To
fun.
that commenter. And
That's
did Pete do his second stream yet? Because he said he had.
I don't know
He
if he.
hasn't. I think he might be doing it tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah, I gotta listen
I don't
for
think I
I
saw
that.
it yet.
think.
Yeah, well, he did such a good job with that first stream. Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely want to know
Yeah.
too.
that was amazing stuff. That's
Pete
great.
who?
Oh, cover time.
I
Pete.
came in
Cover
late.
Time Pete.
Cover
Cover
Time
time.
Pete did a cover
The one and
stream of
only.
all of their mutual songs that they have on their song list, and he only got halfway through
Wow.
the list.
It was really nice.
But I thought it was a beautiful tribute and a great place for people that knew him to come together, and especially on the day after, or like when we were
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
Unfortunately I didn't even know that he was doing
yeah,
that.
and it was kind of a pop up like thing. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
did not
everything.
give a lot of
Yeah.
notice that it was going to happen.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful thing, and I know that Davy and I and there's spent some time there, and so
That's
but
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he also streams early in the morning, so like a lot of people I know on the West Coast probably don't really have a chance. I'm surprised that LG could even make part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
really
early.
only was there because I knew what the stream was gonna be about. But usually,
Yeah.
if I join his stream is like at the very end, just because I'm
Yeah.
2 hours behind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and I
he
did
starts
try
like
to,
at
and I
5 in
posted.
the morning.
Yeah.
And I went into BigBillHendo's Discord channel, and I posted about it as well, so maybe people could join. And then I also tonight posted in there about this in case anybody wanted to stop in as well and share a
Yeah.
story in chat and stuff like that.
Highly recommend anybody in our chat who is not already following Cover Time Pete to do so, and pop in tomorrow. Hopefully he will be on tomorrow morning, and it'll be great. Even for West Coast, I think it'll be okay. It'll probably be like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the West Coast. So I think that'd be okay. I can probably make that.
Yeah.
So let's swing that question over to LG. Like, are there things you would like to do or things that you're thinking of doing? What that will make that you can do in honor of Bill, or just think things that would make you think of Bill as you go into the future.
Yeah, I think so Bill and I, like I said, in the last year, like I like we were friends on Twitch, but I feel like we became better friends off Twitch, and we got to just share a lot of, like just like health related stuff. And I shared like some of my journey, and he shared a lot of his cancer journey with me, which was, I don't know, it was definitely not, we did not have the same thing, but it was good to have like someone to talk to about medical issues, kind of in a weird way, I guess. But one thing I always really appreciated his outlook and his positivity. And I am the kind of person that I feel like people don't see this because I'm a fairly positive person, like especially like in chat. But whenever like I'm like alone with my thoughts, like sometimes I do get pretty negative and kind of beat on myself a little bit. I think we all do.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
I feel like I want to have that attitude that he had. Just like there's hope. And yeah, again, like he was positive. I really feel like he was very positive. I'm sure even to the very end. And every time someone that passes, I think it's just like a time to reflect on, like, just life is short. And
Yeah.
so, just gonna keep trying to live to my best. I might try to learn some more country just because. But I don't promise. Somebody asked me at my gig the other day to learn some country, and I was like, we'll see. But that was before this happened, so maybe now the outcome is different. But yeah.
That's nice.
You don't have to learn a lot. You could learn a few. You can just,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Maybe like 2 or 3.
I'm gonna come request a country song from you now.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Yeah.
I'm too.
I really liked, one of the things I really liked about his country, it's the same that I like about, like I was mentioning Eddie Brown earlier in the chat. Like, it's like the older country, and I really feel like I like older country much better than like modern, like pop country. So I don't know. I might try to, maybe learn some Neon Moon or something. I don't know. That'd be a fun one.
Good song. I love your comment.
It'd be a good pair with Luna.
I could. I could. Ooh, that'd be a good mesh.
That's a good mashup.
That might be something.
Yes.
I make no promises, though.
From my lips to your ears.
Right?
I love it. So one thing I loved your comment. I think I saw you both say in the chat. LG and Ryan were saying, Bill and Eddie were the only 2 people I would play country for. That's just how cool they were, right? Like that's like a really cool spot. And let's go to Ryan. Let's get your thoughts and like things that will make you think of him, things that you might do differently because of what Bill's done, but what Bill's meant to you. Like, is there anything you're thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I think on the whole, kind of similar to what Luis said about, trying to carry forth that energy, not just towards other people, but towards yourself. And Luis, like, you should give yourself a ton of credit for, your health journey has been inspiring, and also like you putting out music, it's been a while now, but I got to see you put out music for the first time. And now for like the second and third, depending on how you count it, it's multiple times now.
Thanks.
So yeah. And yo, we got a raid here.
Jonathan, thank you so
Davey,
much.
We might want to acknowledge the raid before I continue my
Okay.
thoughts.
Well, I wasn't planning to do the raid song just given the weight of the situation.
I wanted you to acknowledge the raid people.
Oh, for sure. Jomsy,
however you feel best.
Yeah.
However you feel would be best.
I am so touched by the raid call too. It's very different tonight. Like,
wow.
And it says we're here to listen. Jomsy, thank you. Thank you, Uncle.
That's
Jomsy.
awesome.
Thank you, friends. Thank you, Keyborg.
I missed the raid call. I just saw the notification come through.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, shout out to Jomsy. Please follow our good friend Jomsy, like, who's an incredibly, and also an sympathetic, is that the word? Human, just an incredibly talented fellow as well. Thank you, Jomsy, so much for the raid. I'm Davy. I'm a variety streamer based in Los Angeles, and I do host a lot of collabs. I also play music, and I also play games. Tonight we're honoring our good friend BigBillHendo, who was an amazing country musician, a singer, songwriter, guitarist, very good at all of those things. And he died last weekend after a long battle with cancer. He leaves behind a loving wife and just a wonderful little 5-year-old boy. And when he died, he was really young. Like I don't know his exact age, but we are estimating no more than 32 and no probably younger than 30 in all likelihood. Yeah, Keywork, I'm with you. Needless to say, I'm quite with you. So yeah, so shouts to Keyborg and Jomsy. It's good to see you all again. Jomsy said, "Welcome in, friends," and it's great to hang out with Rain too. Rain, you've had some great thoughts. So what we're chatting about the moment. By the way, let me just introduce the people we have on. This is Andrea Cannon guitar, awesome guitarist as well. DLG music, that Eflat guy, Sarah Cameron music, and Robbie G Sports OTHP, who is a sports talk host, but also is very connected with the Twitch music scene because of his mod duties on many different channels. So it has been really great to get all your perspectives, knowing a really good friend of ours who's been in all our channels frequently, actually. So it's really been wonderful to have you here. It has been in some ways, it has been very therapeutic in a lot of ways to hang out with you tonight. I'm honestly surprised I haven't just started bawling in the middle of the stream, because like it's just been just thinking the gravity of the situation. Like it really has been quite helpful to have you here to you know, and I know you're all hurting as well, so it's just great to have us do this together. Yeah. Sarah, if you have the wherewithal to share your thoughts too, we'd love to hear what you're thinking of doing as a way to honor Bill going forward and his life.
And I'm not just streaming while I'm not driving. My husband's driving.
Hello, hi Nate.
Hey, Nate.
But I have to show you.
Thank you, Seaman.
Even turn on the camera. Oh well. Oh wait, here. The beautiful sunset we're driving into.
Wow! Look at that, everybody.
It's like pink.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Let me zoom in on that. That looks really.
That is really nice.
That's really cool. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me go back.
So,
Hold on. Okay.
There you go.
There was a lot going on there.
that's a lot. There's a lot. So for me, I mean, obviously, anytime I play a country song, I'm sure I'm gonna think of him. I don't have that many country songs on my list, so you know, they make up a small portion of things. I don't play them that often, so already, you know, that was kind of the case where whenever I would play one, I'd be like, oh, like thinking about Bill, like he'd probably enjoy this right now. But now it's gonna mean more, you know. But oh, unstable internet connection. Oh, is it working?
You're still with us. You're still with us.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, good. But yeah, also, I mean, it's just for me, such a good reminder to like place my trust in God, and like that's where my hope comes from. And I feel like I saw that in Bill. How it wasn't just positivity, but he had a deeper hope. And even as he was going through everything, he was able to really, you know, keep looking up, and that really encouraged me, you know, in my walk. And so, yeah. And then on a practical level, I would love to maybe learn one of his songs, at least one, and get it on my song list. Because I know, like with Sandy Ray, you know, a lot of us have his song on our song list now. And that I think is a beautiful way to, you know, be able to honor Bill, would be to have one of his songs. And then whenever it comes up, we can kind of take a moment and remember him. So
that's incredibly lovely. I love it.
I love that idea. I hope you guys all do it. Not that I have any say on any of your song lists, although I do mod for some of you. But I do. I think that would be awesome, because I do love that about the Sandy Ray thing, and you know, a lot of those memories were brought up obviously with this as well. But Yeah, he's such a beautiful individual.
Yeah.
I just feel like we got to find ways to honor him. I have to say, I was doing a little bit more sleuthing while people were talking. I was curious how many times he'd been on my chat, and he was a sports fan, which I hadn't totally remembered. And he was a Packers fan, which is
All
interesting.
right, we'll let that
Yeah,
one go.
exactly. So I did figure it out, his team. And so we did have some conversations about football over the years. And yeah, no, just a really interesting guy. Had, a lot of,
Yeah.
likes and different interests, and just we talked about lots of different stuff
Yeah.
together,
Steeman, I love it. Yeah, Steeman's on board with that too. Steeman's a big Packer fan. Love it, Steeman.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would
I'm
you?
not a big.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I'm not a big Packers fan, but I'm accustomed to saying "Go Pack." So
Hey, let's go. Absolutely. Absolutely. One pack
I
deserves
appreciate
another.
Oh, the most I can say about a team is I don't have to hate them.
That's fantastic.
There's really one big one I do. But
Oh yeah, that's all of us though. So you're good. You got company on that one.
Yeah. I am like the least sports person there is. So. Which I appreciate that Robbie still wants to be my friend either way.
Yeah. I talk to people can play Pokemon on my stream. I talk to people who don't like sports.
Right.
So.
I love it. So Robbie, like you've had a lot of great things to share with us tonight regarding our friend Bill. If you were to take that same question, like what are things that you might do, just like that you might do or that you are doing or that you hope to continue doing to honor a friend?
Yeah. I think some of the things was just, and I already do this, but just to continue, and it reminds me of this, but just show love to everybody in your communities. I'm lucky enough to spend a lot of time in a lot of different chat rooms, but just show love to the streamer, to the people that need it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like introverts on this platform that don't necessarily get the love in a lot of other ways. And, we're lucky we can use emotes or whatever, but just telling people, I can't tell you how many times I have a bad day and I come into a chat and somebody else picks me up, and to do that for others. And he did that for so many people, even when he was struggling, and so taking that sort of mindset forward, I think is the big takeaway for me. And, just obviously to hug children and just, love your family and the people in your life and, be very forthcoming with that, and you just don't know how many moments you have. So
It's so true. I think mine, I think I've always enjoyed, I know that this might be something that we have in common. Like Bill has always been so upbeat and positive, looking forward and everything and seeing the light and everything. People have said that about me. But I do think that one thing, and I'm not necessarily sure if it's necessarily anything he did, but I think the just experiencing losing a friend that young, I mean, maybe it's not the first time that's happened. I'm trying to think. No, but someone who I've communicated with on a regular basis, definitely the first time I've really lost someone like that. So it's just tough. Like, I mean, it's tough for all of us, and you're sharing that toughness with me. But one thing I have been probably done I've probably never done before is I've been a little more honest about like where I am emotionally. So, like people will ask you like, how are you? And that sounds like an easy question, but it tends to be a complicated question because sometimes you're going to be feeling a lot of different things on a given day. And honestly, like really, I kind of was just saying, I'm okay, but I'm not going to say I'm good because, it's been hard. It's been hard. Just knowing that you have someone who was, oh, bless you. Who's been in just been such a, like you said, he's such a nice, supportive guy. You'd often see him in your chat or in your chat or in your chat or in your chat or anybody else's chat. And to not have that anymore is hard. And he was so talented. He was so kind. He was such a loving. It's like, it's just not fair that he's gone. And so, but anyway, just all this to say, like, this is something I want to do is like, I do want to learn his songs too. That's actually one of the things too. Like, I would like to get to know his songs, as time goes by. But I also do want to just be a little bit more open about that. Like, you know, how are you? Well, you know, it hasn't been great. Like I'm struggling with grief and loss. And not I don't have to be that direct about it all the time, but I just, you know what I mean? Like, just don't, I don't want to lie and say I'm doing great, like, when you're not doing great, you know. So I truly lived the it's okay not to be okay this week more than I could remember, and so that's something I want to do. But I think the bigger thing for me is, as I start to find out about things, whether positively or negatively, I want to be more proactive in sharing information. I feel like I wait too long to do this sometimes because I just want to vet it. I want to make sure the timing is right, or you're just busy. I think that's the biggest thing I think I can do. I just want to be more. I want to be more proactive in letting people know, even things like letting people know how much I care about them. Like, that means a lot to me. I've seen Bill do that. Like, just share, just be there, just saying something, and just a little thing like saying hello means so much. And I want to do that more. I want to let people know things are happening sooner than I do, and take things a little bit. You know, when you see, oh, some things, this is happening to X. Like, I don't be afraid to, like, think of, like, well, is this the time? No, just do it. You know, make that, and give people the chance to share how much they feel about people. And yeah, that's it. Like, it's nice to have you here to have us go through this together. And it's kind of what Twitch is all about, really. It's like, we have been through a lot of good moments together. We've been through some tough moments, and just having you, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot. I hope Bill's family does somehow come upon this, just to so that they understand how much and we're just part of, like, a lot of people who care about you, Bill, and we miss you a lot. And so, thanks for letting me get all long-winded with my answer.
But Davey, thank you for making a forum for us to come together,
Absolutely.
you know, and do this. I very much appreciate that. It's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you.
And you know, it's you know, I appreciate the opportunity to speak on him. You know, I know that because we knew him in a very different way than his family does, you know, but we all have a common bond in how we knew him, and so I think it is important to reflect on some of that.
Yeah. He works as
and I think,
go
you know,
ahead,
just I was just gonna say, to add to that, like, I feel like this just reinforces just what a great community we are all a part of. You know, like, I get asked sometimes by people, like, oh, you know, like, why do you still stream on Twitch? Like, the pandemic is over. Like, you know, why are you still doing that? I'm like, it's because of stuff like this. Like, you know, like, even in the times that I've considered leaving, like, I can't leave because there is just people that I really care and that have become just a big part of my life. And I want to continue being a part of their life. And, you know, just, I don't know. I feel like, yes, right now I think Bill's death is bringing this up, but at the same time, it's like, it's just a reminder of just what a beautiful community we've created in this our little corner of the internet. It's not so little, but is little.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's really well said, LG. I do appreciate Keyboard's comment. Like, this is really where you shine, Davy. Community for you is your breath in life, and thank you. Like, it really means a lot, and it's always great for me to share moments with all of you, but just having you there, you know, sometimes it's just nice to have you there. I mean, it helps us all through pain of a lot of things, and it's really great. And I also want to just thank everybody who rated in tonight. Like, you know, Andrea, first of all, yourselves and your community. Your community is so cool and cozy. You know, it's full of snacks. It's so nice to have you all here. I really do appreciate the raid, and I hope your stream went well too. And yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, that's good. True, it is not actually really over for a lot of people in 2021. What are we looking at here? I wish the pandemic.
No, kind of just going about the pandemic.
Oh, that, yeah. Well, it is what it is. Green Guy, good to see you.
It's side conversation.
Gotcha. Good to see you, Green Guy. Good to see you, Alistair. Clay Station too, as well. Thank you so much for the raid. Like, it's really nice to have you here with your party. And Jomsy, our good friend Jomsy. It was so nice to have you here. I really appreciate y'all being here. Keyboard, I really appreciate sharing your personal insights. And it's really been great to hear from everybody. Rain, you've been great too. Seaman, And Tina, a big time mod love tonight. Green Guy says, just learning about all this. Wow, a heavy topic. It's great to have such a stream, honoring and respecting such a great streamer. Thank you, Green Guy. It's yeah. I said it go on from the jump. I didn't think this was going to be an easy stream to do, but it's felt very therapeutic, and I'm grateful that we could do this, and I'm glad you all could be here to help us to do this with me. And I guess I can give it to you all for other thoughts, final thoughts, and then we can find some order. Raiding is going to be actually hard for me tonight because what do you do with a raid? You're going to be like, well, we were doing a memorial for a friend. I don't know how to assess that, but I'll see what I can do. I would totally raid Bob Blaho if Bob Blaho were on. I think that'd be a great spot, but I'm willing to take your suggestions because I'm honestly a little unsure what to do. But before we do that, just give it to you final thoughts. Let's start with Andrea again, and then we'll go around the circle.
Well, the only thing I was thinking is, Robbie, you mod for Pete, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he's not already playing.
I have VIP. I guess he doesn't really have that many mods. Only Tina, or no, I think he only has like 1 or 2 mods. A lot of people are VIPs, but he gives us all the same commands. So yes, I guess that's not technically, but yeah.
Okay, well, if any, I'm not connected at all, and I have a dentist appointment in the morning, so I might. I know
Yeah,
it's.
I'll message you if I see the stream pop up.
Yeah, I was thinking that for at least a while he should leave those 2 VODs open.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if he leaves his VODs open, so that was a thought that I had, is that would be one way to be able to direct people if they come on the information later or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I'm so thankful that Davy's gonna hopefully put this on his YouTube, and so that way we can come back and relive these moments and and honor him that way. I don't maybe get it to his family so that he could see how much he meant to all of us. I just.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope they do. You know what? I think I know where to go. I have been keeping the chat had some suggestions. I know I'll start a suggestion, but I actually think I have a pretty solid spot, which you all might go with. Oh yeah, let's keep going. I'm sorry. So Andrew, thank you very much for sharing that. Let's go around the other way. Robbie, any parting words before we decide on our raid?
Yeah, I just obviously I miss the guy. I wish that I had gotten an opportunity to go get a sandwich with him. But he just such a joyful person and such a great person in my life, and I know in all of your lives. And I'm just really saddened by it because I really thought it was going to end very differently. How positive and optimistic he was, up until almost the very end, and always, saying he's going through tough times, but was, fighting the good fight, and it would keep us updated. And so yeah, it's a big loss to the community, obviously, and I'll miss him, and I'm just wishing for the best for his family and for his friends and for his loved ones that knew him beyond these digital walls. So.
I love that, Robbie. I do. Sorry about that. Look, I'm still kind of fighting it. I sometimes can make mistakes on screen, so my apologies. Sarah, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think, want to continue to honor his memory and just however I can. And I don't know, he's going to be greatly missed. I'm really going to miss seeing him all over Twitch music. He was such a big part of like everyone's streams. He was everywhere, it seemed like. And yeah, just really going to miss him.
Yeah. That's very well said. I mean, I appreciate that, Sarah. Ryan?
Yeah, I just yeah, miss him for sure. I am still kind of figuring out, you know, what I'm gonna do. We kind of had cut off in the middle of that, but had some good ideas from other
Oh,
people, and
well, you got time to share.
as far as yeah, well, I'm that's kind of my point is I'm still kind of figuring it out
Okay.
as to how I want to honor him in a more maybe a more tangible way that's more directly related to him. Um, but yeah, just I think that's my takeaway is, you know, um, show people how much they mean to you. Um, just make, we can always, it's never, there's never a maximum amount. Like, it's always acceptable to tell somebody that they mean a lot to you, So, and sometimes we get this, I don't know, at least am I can hold back sometimes just because of like, oh, if this might be, I don't know, this might not be the right time, But really, what does that what does that mean? Why would it not be the right time? So, so take advantage of those moments to show people that you appreciate them. I think that's what I'm getting at.
That's wonderful, Ryan. I very well said. I love it. LG.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everybody said a lot of things I wanted to say. Like I'll definitely miss Bill. He was a great guy with a very, very big heart and just big soul and just like, just an awesome guy. And I want to remember him for that as, just like that really positive presence in my life through this, like I said, this corner of the internet. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, like I just, this is just a reminder for me to just have a better positive outlook and in life. And yeah, I'd love to find ways to honor him. I know there's, like we were saying earlier, there's a potential thing that John is planning, and just stuff like that. I think we can all participate and give our time and be a part of. But like just I think just knowing Bill, he would want everybody to remember him just for who he was, and just not be sad and continue enjoying life. And that's hard whenever someone that passes. Like it's normal to be sad, but also yeah, just want to remember him for the good times. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know why I just did this.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just look at this. So yeah, we're sussing in our mini chat, like who to raid. I think there's some pretty good ones. Let me just go look at this really quick. I think the suggestions in our inner chat seem to be pretty good. I think I'll take it. But I think the question of who are people that BigBillHendo watches, that's actually a good question. I was kind of wondering if there are any other like of his follows that are on right now. Are any coming to mind, friends?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I feel like that's a Robbie question.
I'm already looking it up.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Nobody he suggests is online right now. So.
Okay.
But a lot of great choices on there on that list that are not on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan had mentioned a pretty solid choice too, and I think that would actually be really good for our purposes, because I think the tone of conversation would be very much in vogue with where we would be going. King, I love that, King, phenomenal. Thank you, everybody. Koala Man Magoo says BigBillHendo, rest in peace. I mirror that. Rest in peace, Bill. Thank you. We miss you so much. And we'll be thinking of you for the next, into the future. And we'll be thinking of yours as well. Thank you all for being part of this, everybody. Andrea Cannon Guitar, LG Music, Robbie G, Sarah Cameron, that Eflat guy. So nice to have you all here. All of you in the chat, thank you as well. Big time mod love tonight. Thank you, Green Guy. Absolutely. And thank you all for doing this. Thank you for hanging out with us, everybody. King says, raise a light in chat for Big Bill Hundo. Absolutely. Lighter or fire emotes. You can use your phone as well. It's fine. I love. Oh, nice. Ooh, I love it. I'll take it. Fireflies are good. I'll do. So I think we're gonna go. Just double checking a thing. Yeah, it's definitely a more of a different kind of a raid tonight. So I don't even know if Bork even makes sense for a raid call. I don't even know what to do for a raid call. Like, we don't have to do a raid call.
I think it should be like raid with love or something.
Yeah,
you know?
sending love your way. You know.
Yeah. Sending love your way. I love it. We can do that.
Oh, sending big love your way.
Sending big.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let me add a little heart at the end of each of these, just to make that easy.
There we go. I did something for Bill.
Yes.
There you go.
You did. Terrific.
The biggest heart you have.
There you go. Oh, thank you, Ulo. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Sending big love. Copy the red. That's the raid call. Copy that raid call. Ryan for public office of raid calls.
I know.
Excellent.
Officer raid call.
That is so good. That is so good.
If I am nominated to that office, I will carry out my abilities to the best of my duties to the best of my abilities.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Sending big love.
We should all just do our own hearts or whatever our hearts are for our channel.
I don't have hearts in my channel.
I was just gonna do that.
I think that's fun. Yeah. So if you have extra hearts, that's cool.
Whatever kind of heart,
any kind of hearts will do. Yeah.
But I just think it'd be kind of cool to have like a sea of different hearts. You know, it'd be cool.
Let me just throw it. And Caitlin, thank you too for the shout. Can we throw some shouts to Alistair and Caitlin as well? It's great to see you all joining in. This is a really good raid call, Robbie. I mean, Ryan. This is an A+. Like, this is a great raid call. Thank you, Tina. Big time thanks to Tina and King tonight, and Jamie too. Let's go raid. We're gonna raid Joyce Lee Music, good friend of ours. Definitely knows. You know, she would certainly be empathetic to this story and the conversation. So we'll go do that. Thank you, friends. Y'all have a good rest.
Side note.
Oh, what's that?
I feel like it's worth mentioning. She is the one I was trying to think of.
Oh, no,
who has organized multi-day charity.
Okay.
Yes.
Super.
Who was it?
Joyce.
Joyce Lee was the big raid organizer.
Okay.
Yeah, she did that really big one. That's right. I remember that was
like a 3-day or a 5-day or something crazy.
Yeah, a Herculean effort on her part, and Bo was who was just on Davy's show this week. Was also a big part of that charity event.
That's right.
Organizing it.
Yeah, Bo's also such a, but both of them are such great, like, bringers of peoples togethers, like, so really good at that. I do want to say hello to LG's special friend of her. Hello there.
Hey, this is Ron. He's our foster cat.
Aww.
But he belongs here. He's not going anywhere.
I love it, Ron. You continue to be a good.
He actually also has cancer, by the way.
Oh, does he? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he does. That's what we're fostering him, and he just wanted to join the chat. So I was like, okay, cool.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining us, Ron. We hope you get.
And Davey, I just want to mention that Bill is following her since December 8th of 21. So he followed her for a long time.
Stat boy again comes through. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate all your help tonight as well. All right, let's go raid Joyce Lee, everybody. Thank you so much, y'all. Make sure to follow Joyce when we get there. We'll send our love, send some big love her way. And yeah, Robbie with the stats. Let's go.
Sports and stats.
That's what I do.
I love
it goes well.
Oh, fantastic. All right, everybody. Thank you again. It's been wonderful. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'm not going to be back on... I might be back on Twitch tomorrow. Possibly. Just to do music. So maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Other than that, I will probably see you next week. So take care, everybody. Oh, no problem, Uncle Jimbo. So good to see you again. Take care, my friend. But wanted to listen to memories more than that. No, absolutely. Your presence means so much. Thank you so much, Uncle Jimbo. Thank you, horror host Joe. And anybody I missed in chat, please let me know that we really appreciate you being here. It's great to hear from Emily earlier as well. Keyboard, Koala, Tina. Yeah, thanks. And Ulo, it's good to see you too. All right, well, folks, we'll see you at Joyce Lee. Thank you, everybody. Take care, everybody. I'll be good
Bye,
to each other.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Rest in peace, Big Bill Hundo. Bye, everyone.